long time ago, in search of fame and fortune, Ferdinand Magellan set out from Spain with a fleet of 5 ships to discover a western sea route to the Spice Island.
Is known through the travelogue of one of the few Google member, Antonio Pigafetta, and his journal became the basis for his 1525 travel, the first voyage around the world.
Rated PG, patnubay at gabay ng magulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood.
Good morning, I am Rica Saraspi.
And I am Julian Shane Valdez.
And you're watching
Rica
and Shane Talk. Today, we are talking about Magellan'S Voyage. As we all know, the book entitled The First Voyage Around the World, written by Antonio Pigafetta, a native of Vicencia, who accompanied Ferdinand Magellan along with Juan Sebastian Elcano in the famous expedition to Malacca from August 15 to September 1522. Contains narrative information about Magellan's expedition, which was made possible through the help of Magellan's labor interpreter Enrique de Malacca.
To better understand these events, we'll talk with Miss Montecalvo, Audrey May, who is Miss Miles Rabi, as well as Miss Aureliano Lady May, who is Mr. de Guzman Marty, and finally for a perspective from Miss Fabregas Jen. We'll also have Mr. Bon Piolo and Mr. Marsigan Mark Anthony on our show.
Let's give them a round of applause. We're going to start with Miss Montecalvo. Miss Montecalvo, please tell us something about Magellan's voyage around the world.
Ferdinand Magellan is a Portuguese explorer and went to Spain after his exploration was denied. Then he went to the king and queen of Spain and told them that he wanted to use the route of westward to eastward. Dito na papasok yung Treaty of Tordesillas line. Spain can travel in the westward while Portugal can explore the eastward. Ferdinand Magellan proposed to the king and queen of Spain that he will find a route to go to the westward while using the westward. So Magellan will go to the eastward while using the route of the westward.
Thank you for the information, Miss Montecalvo. I hope our listeners learned something.
Let's quickly move on and start with Miss Rabi. Good day, Miss Rabi. Here is a question for you. What's the most important thing we should know about the Magellan's voyage around the world?
So, ayun nga, during their expedition, they usually don't have the exact location on what is their destination. If I was not mistaken, in year 1521, March 16, they came up on the island named La Trini, but in another day, they just hop into the other island that they feel it was better to be stay in and makes them secure. On March 18, they saw a boat coming toward their island. So, their Captain General ordered his men that no one should move or say a word without his permission. They think they are an enemy, so they seem to feel it first, and when they didn't seem like a bad person, the Captain General approached them in a good way. As a return, the chief gave offerings to the captain when he saw its courtesy towards them. They also learned something from these natives, like teaching how to make bread, wine from the coconut, and discover the wonderful places to that island where they have stayed. So, and that is what I have remembered from the past, from the voyages of Magellan.
Thank you, Miss Rabi. Before we continue, let's take a break for a few seconds.
Nay, baka ito na huling growth spurt niya. Sabayan mo na ng Cherryfer PGM with CGF. Needs 100% ready for teens. Cherryfer PGM Teens. Tangkad sagad. Mahalagang paalala, ang Cherryfer PGM ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamiting panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Without further ado, let's continue our interview so we can finish this early. Mr. de Guzman, this question is for you. During your expedition, did they learn something?
they learned in the expedition was being assembled a diverse team and lead it to greatness. Magellan's emotional intelligence during these events demonstrates both his ability for self-control and the great authority, as well as when and how to use each. This is an important lesson in empathy, leadership, strength, and soft power. Magellan demonstrates situational awareness and the ability to strike the right balance for the best outcome. Thank you.
This is only a few questions left, so let's continue. Mr. Bon and Miss Aureliano, here's your question. What was your insight about the voyage of Magellan?
For me, my insights in the first voyage of Magellan was it was so extraordinary and his expedition gave way to our globalizations. It also caused a big valuable contribution in the human root of the human history, not only in the voyage itself but also in the historical background of the voyage and the consequences of the development of several civilizations. And thanks to the discovery of the Strait of the Magellan and the Pacific Ocean, new models of expansion and economics are well known, involving the countries from all the continents. These models survive today and we call it the globalization.
I think the relevance of the voyage of Magellan is the geography and cartography, because that time the world map is not complete yet. Because of the first voyage of Magellan, they had a big update about it, and also the criticism was implemented in the Philippines. And I learned a lot about the difference of discovery and rediscovery, and also the importance of the journal writing and historical recording. Imagine when Antonio Pigafetta is not with them that time, we will not know what happened on the first voyage of Magellan around the world.
Here in our last question for today. By the way, thank you Miss Arellana and Mr. Bon. Let's finish then, and I'm hoping that everyone watching is learning. So this is the question, Miss Fabregas and Mr. Marasigan. How can you divide Magellan and his companions as a traveler?
As far as I know, Magellan and his companion is very determined and very consistent in life. Even though they experienced struggle in his expedition, it did not become a hindrance for them. Instead, they continued until they become successful. Circumnavigate the world is not easy, and especially not a joke. That's why I am very proud for them, and they considered as a true hero.
They are smart and thoughts in times that they are lack of source. Magellan and his men always find a way to some foods and other things they need.
We are done discussing about the exploration of Magellan. I hope that everyone here learned something about our topic for today. We thank the guests for appearing in our show. And let us look behind the story of the first voyage around the world. This is Rika and Shane. Stop!